I was savoring my first sip of black coffee, the kind that could wake a coma patient, on my Columbus, Ohio porch when Emily's scream sliced through the Saturday morning calm like a chainsaw through a HOA rulebook. My daughter, 18 and tougher than a $2 steak, was in the Oakwood Estates Community Park, her sketchbook probably capturing some tree she'd named Harold or whatever artsy stuff kids do. But that cry wasn't her usual, "Dad, I stubbed my toe," wail. This was primal. I dropped my mug, navy polo be damned, and sprinted across the lawn, phone bouncing on my belt like it was trying to escape. The park, our suburban shrine with its benches, playground, and that sanctimonious, community rules, bulletin board, looked like a crime scene. Emily knelt on the grass, her wheelchair tipped sideways, clutching the wreckage of her prosthetic leg. The thing was her lifeline, a sleek marvel of engineering that let her chase dreams and outrun pity. Now it was a mangled mess, spray-painted with HOA violation, in neon orange, like some budget horror movie prop. A hammer lay nearby, guilty as hell, and the air reeked of paint fumes. Security cameras on the streetlights blinked, probably wondering if they'd get overtime for this. "Dad, they broke it." Emily sobbed, her sketchbook splayed open on the ground, a half-drawn tree staring up like it was ashamed to witness this. I knelt beside her, fury boiling hotter than my spilled coffee. "Who did this, Em?" I asked, already knowing the answer. Only one person in Oakwood Estates had the audacity to turn a prosthetic into modern art. Enter Karen Mitchell, our HOA president and suburban Sauron in a tailored blazer. She strutted across the park, her oversized sunglasses perched on her head like a crown, leather purse swinging like she was auditioning for a Real Housewives spin-off. Her heels clicked on the pavement, each step screaming, "I'm in charge, peasants." At 45, Karen ran this neighborhood like it was her personal fiefdom, her clipboard a scepter of petty tyranny. I'd seen her kind before, Reddits r/entitled people could write a saga about her, but this was next level. "Jack, this is unacceptable," Karen declared, stopping 10 feet away, like Emily's distress was contagious. That device was left on a bench, cluttering the park. "It's unsightly and lowers property values." Her voice dripped with the kind of self-righteous venom that makes you want to yeet her into the next county. "Unsightly." I stood, fists clenched, my DOJ attorney brain already drafting her legal obituary. "Karen, that's my daughter's leg. She needs it to walk. You think spray painting it and smashing it like a piñata is in the HOA handbook?" She didn't flinch, just adjusted her purse. "I didn't touch it. But residents have complained about items left in public spaces. I enforced the rules." Her smirk said she'd personally swung that hammer, probably cackling like a discount Cruella de Vil. Emily, tears streaking her face, gripped the ruined prosthetic. "I was just resting, Dad. I took it off for 10 minutes. Her voice cracked, but there was steel underneath. "My girl was down but not out." I pulled out my phone and dialed 911, eyes locked on Karen. "This is Jack Thompson. I'm reporting felony vandalism in Oakwood Estates Park. Send someone now." Karen's smirk faltered, her sunglasses slipping like her confidence. She started backing away, heels clicking faster, but not before I added, "And Karen, you're gonna wish you'd stuck to finding people for unapproved mailboxes." As she scurried off, I helped Emily into her wheelchair, her sketchbook now smudged with grass. The park was quiet again, kids on the playground frozen, parents whispering. The bulletin board's "No unauthorized items" sign mocked us, and those cameras kept blinking, hopefully catching every second of Karen's villain arc. I hugged Emily, promising her a new leg and a reckoning. My DOJ expertise wasn't just for pushing paper, this was personal. Karen thought she'd slink away, her HOA crown untarnished, but she didn't know I was about to turn her petty empire into a legal thunderdome. By 10:30 a.m., I was at her McMansion, Emily safe at home with her sketchbook and a cup of tea. Karen answered the door, still clutching that leather purse like it held the nuclear codes, her sunglasses now a headband for her suburban warlord vibe. "Jack, "This is harassment," she snapped, phone beeping as she fired off texts, probably to her minions. "Harassment?" I leaned in, voice low, channeling every DOJ deposition I'd ever crushed. "You orchestrated felony property damage, Karen. Ohio Revised Code Section 2909.05, look it up. That's Emily's leg you trashed. Who swung the hammer?" Her eyes darted, but she doubled down, all sanctimonious bluster. "That leg was a public nuisance," she said, like she was reading from her HOA gospel. "Anonymous residents took action. I just enforced the rules." Her lie was flimsier than her $1,000 fine for unmowed lawns. I wasn't buying it. Back at my office, I pulled HOA records with the finesse of a guy who'd untangled government red tape for decades. Security footage from those park cameras was gold, grainy, but clear enough to show Karen barking orders to a maintenance crew, hammer in one guy's hand, spray paint in another's. She directed the hit like a low-rent Scorsese. Lisa, our neighbor and single mom with a knack for spotting BS, caught me outside. "Jack, I saw her crew do it," she said, glancing over her shoulder like Karen's clipboard might fly out of nowhere. They were laughing, spray painting that leg like it was a frat prank. Her testimony was a gift, and I filed it away. Then Bill, the retiree who'd probably seen every war movie ever made, rolled up in his baseball cap, phone in hand. "Got the whole confrontation on video," he grinned, showing me shaky footage of Karen's park sermon about unsightly items. He'd already posted it on X, where it was racking up views like a cat meme. #Hobelies trending, he said, proud as punch. Tom, another neighbor and HOA minutes hoarder, slid me a dossier thicker than a phone book. "Karen's obsessed with aesthetics," he said, pointing to rants about everything from garden gnomes to Emily's clutter. It was a paper trail of her tyranny. Then Karen escalated, because of course she did. A crinkled HOA letter hit my mailbox, fining me $1,000 for causing a disturbance and threatening to ban Emily from the park. I could have framed it for audacity. "Your daughter's leg was an eyesore." Karen had spat in the footage, and now she was doubling down. I called Mark, my DOJ buddy who'd seen me dismantle bigger fish than Karen. "Lawsuit time," I said. "Felony vandalism, emotional distress, and let's toss in the Fair Housing Act for kicks. You're a liar ruining our community." Karen's voice echoed in my head from Bill's video. "You destroyed her mobility, that's a crime," I'd shot back, and now I was proving it. Lisa's words, "I saw her crew do it, Jack," were my ace. Bill's camera clicks and Karen's beeping phone were the soundtrack to her unraveling. The neighborhood buzzed, whispers spreading like wildfire. Karen's lies were fraying, but her next move was about to push me to the edge. Karen's HOA doubled down, but my DOJ expertise was about to flip her suburban dictatorship into a courtroom cage match. By Monday, March 14th, I'd filed a lawsuit against her and the HOA, citing felony vandalism under Ohio Revised Code Section 2909.05, emotional distress, and a violation of the Fair Housing Act for targeting Emily's disability. Mark hooked me up with a federal prosecutor who sniffed bigger game. Karen's HOA reign might be a house of cards. My phone buzzed with his updates, each one tightening the noose. Karen, never one to go quietly, countersued for defamation, claiming I was slandering her pristine reputation. She upped the ante by plastering flyers around Oakwood Estates, accusing Emily of faking her disability to manipulate the community. The flyers, stuffed in mailboxes and taped to the park's bulletin board, were pure venom, her clipboard's propaganda arm. I found one crumpled on my driveway, the ink smearing in the morning dew. "You're a liar ruining our community," she'd shrieked in Bill's video, and now she was broadcasting it. Lisa wasn't having it. She stormed door to door, collecting 200 petition signatures to oust Karen, her sneakers pounding the pavement like a one-woman revolution. "This ends now," she told me, handing over the petition, its pages heavy with ink and outrage. Bill's X video of our park showdown hit 50,000 views, hashtag Justice for Emily trending as guys in Ohio bars probably toasted Emily's grit. His baseball cap bobbed as he filmed Karen's flyer spree, muttering, "This lady's unhinged." Tom, now my unofficial archivist, dug deeper, uncovering HOA financial records showing Karen had siphoned $30,000 for landscaping that never happened, unless you count her new patio as a community project. His dossier grew thicker, a ticking bomb of evidence. Sarah, a disability advocate with a voice that could rally a coma ward, prepped to testify about Emily's rights. Emily's prosthetic is her mobility, not your target, she told me, her words sharp as a blade. Karen's HOA cronies tried to intimidate Lisa, cornering her at the park with threats of legal action for her petition. But Oakwood Estates was waking up. At a town hall, the community room's microphone hummed as neighbors spilled stories of Karen's harassment, fines for wrong paint colors, threats over kids' bikes, even a dog banned for excessive barking. One guy, probably pushing 70, stood up and said, "She told me my mailbox was tacky. It's been there 20 years." The room erupted, laughter and anger mixing like a Molotov cocktail. I stood at the podium, dossier in hand, laying out Karen's vandalism and financial scams. "This isn't about rules, it's about power," I said, my voice steady from years of DOJ arguments. She targeted my daughter's leg, her lifeline, because it didn't fit her aesthetic. Emily, in her wheelchair, sketched quietly in the corner, her resilience louder than any speech. Sarah followed, citing the Fair Housing Act like a legal sledgehammer. "Federal law protects Emily's rights," she declared. "Karen's actions are discrimination, plain and simple." Karen, sitting in the back, clutched her purse, sunglasses slipping as her face reddened. Her allies on the board squirmed, their loyalty cracking under the crowd's glare. Flyers littered the floor, stepped on and ignored. The town hall's fluorescent lights buzzed, amplifying the tension. "You're all brainwashed." Karen snapped, standing, her voice shrill. "Jack's the liar." I shot back, "You're the one facing prison, Karen," and the room roared, applause drowning her out. Bill caught it all, his phone's clicks a metronome of Karen's downfall. His latest X post was blowing up, comments flooding with hashtag Justice for Emily and tales of other HOA tyrants. Lisa's petition gained steam, neighbors passing it like contraband. Tom's financial records were with the prosecutor now, and Mark hinted at federal charges looming. My phone vibrated again, another update, another nail in Karen's coffin. Karen's desperation was palpable, her flyers a last-ditch smear. But the community's rally was a force she hadn't anticipated. At the park, kids played again, their laughter a middle finger to her reign. Emily sketched a new tree, her pencil scratching defiantly. The bulletin board, once her propaganda hub, now held a petition sign-up sheet. Those security cameras kept blinking, recording the shift. Karen's countersuit was bold, but the courtroom would be her undoing. As the trial loomed, Oakwood Estates morphed into a fortress against Karen's tyranny, our collective middle finger raised high. Wednesday, March 16th, brought the HOA meeting that would light her empire's funeral pyre. The community room was packed, the air thick with anticipation and the faint hum of a overworked AC. I stood at the front, dossier in hand, ready to gut Karen's reign like a DOJ audit. Lisa's petition, now boasting 400 signatures, was a brickbat of community rage, passed around like a victory flag. I opened with Tom's financial records, projecting them on a screen that flickered like it knew the stakes. Karen siphoned $30,000 for landscaping that never happened, I said, pointing to line items for her patio and a fountain that existed only in her ego. She vandalized Emily's prosthetic, fined us for fighting back, and harassed anyone who dared question her. The crowd murmured, heads nodding, a few guys in baseball caps muttering, "Unbelievable." Emily sat near Lisa, sketching, her wheelchair a quiet rebuke to Karen's cruelty. Tom, stepping up as interim HOA president, laid out Karen's harassment history, fines for unapproved birdhouses, threats over kids' chalk drawings, even a neighbor's dog banned for looking aggressive. His voice was steady, a retiree turned revolutionary. "This ends tonight," he declared, holding up the petition. Applause erupted, shaking the room's cheap paneling. Karen, seated in the back, couldn't resist her villain arc. She stormed to the front, sunglasses slipping, purse swinging like a flail. "You're all traitors," she screeched, hurling her clipboard to the floor with a clatter that echoed like her crumbling authority. "Jack's dossier is lies. You're ruining our community." Her face was a tomato, veins bulging, a caricature of suburban rage. I stepped forward, calm as a sniper. "Your crimes are exposed, Karen, step down." The crowd roared, a tidal wave of "resign" and "enough." Mike, the security guard, moved in, radio crackling as he signaled for backup. At 35, he had the build of a guy who'd wrestled drunks at bars, and he gently but firmly restrained Karen as she flailed, accusing me of treason. Bill, ever the chronicler, caught it all, his phone's clicks a drumroll of her demise. His ex-post of the meltdown hit 100,000 views before the meeting ended, #JusticeForEmily blazing across screens from Columbus to Cleveland. Comments poured in, "Karen's done," and "HOA horror stories, anyone?" Lisa took the mic, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We're done with your bullying," she said, staring Karen down. "This petition bans you for life." The room exploded again, neighbors high-fiving, a few tossing crumpled flyers into a trash can like they were dunking on Karen's legacy. Sarah, the disability advocate, announced a fundraiser for Emily's new prosthetic, already at $20,000. "Emily's resilience is our strength," she said, and Emily looked up from her sketchbook, a faint smile breaking through. Karen's allies on the board slunk out, their silence louder than any defense. The HOA voted to suspend her on the spot, citing their own conduct policy. Tom pledged reforms: no more aesthetic witch hunts, accessibility upgrades for the park, transparency in finances. Mike escorted Karen out, her heels dragging, sunglasses now dangling from her blazer like a white flag. The clipboard lay abandoned, a relic of her reign. Outside, the park's benches gleamed under streetlights, the bulletin board now plastered with fundraiser flyers. Those security cameras blinked, eternal witnesses to the uprising. My phone buzzed, Mark, confirming the FBI was digging into Karen's finances, her $30,000 scam just the tip. "Federal charges are coming," he said. I grinned, picturing Karen's purse in an evidence locker. But Karen, true to form, wasn't done. Online, she spread rumors about Emily faking her disability, posting on X from some burner account. The community countered with a #JusticeForEmily campaign, sharing stories of Emily's grit, how she'd sketched through pain, raced kids in the park, never let her limb difference define her. Bill's latest video fueled the fire, racking up thousands of shares. "This girl's a hero," one comment read, and I couldn't agree more. The meeting room emptied, applause lingering like a victory anthem. Lisa hugged Emily, promising a barbecue to celebrate the new HOA. Sarah handed me a fundraiser update, enough for Emily's therapy, too. Tom shook my hand, his dossier now a community talisman. Mike radioed the police to ensure Karen didn't pull a encore tantrum. I looked at Emily, her pencil scratching a new drawing, a tree, maybe Harold, standing tall. Karen's meltdown was her last gasp, justice was about to strike. When the gavel fell, Karen's HOA empire crumbled, and Oakwood Estates soared like a phoenix from her ashes. On Friday, April 1st, the courtroom was a pressure cooker, the judge's verdict a sledgehammer. Karen, convicted of felony vandalism under Ohio Revised Code Section 2909.05 and financial fraud, got 3 years in prison and a $30,000 restitution order. The HOA banned her for life, their conduct policy finally biting the hand that wielded it. Bill's ex video of her courtroom scowl hit 500,000 views, #Justice for Emily trending from Columbus to coastlines, with comments like, Karen's Denizo, and Emily's a legend. The neighborhood threw a Unity Day barbecue in the park, the smoky aroma of ribs and burgers mingling with laughter. Kids swarmed the playground, their shouts drowning out the ghosts of Karen's clipboard. Lisa, now a community rock star, manned the grill, her apron emblazoned with, "No more Karens." She drafted new HOA bylaws, banning aesthetic fines and mandating accessibility upgrades. Tom, official HOA president, unveiled a plan for park ramps and braille signs, his dossier now framed in his den like a war trophy. Emily, fitted with a new prosthetic that gleamed like a sci-fi prop, stood at a makeshift podium, her sketchbook tucked under her arm. "We're stronger together," she said, her voice clear, cutting through the crowd's cheers. At 18, she'd turned pain into power, her speech launching a scholarship fund for disability advocacy. Sarah's fundraiser had cleared $20,000, covering therapy and the leg, with enough left for Emily's art classes. "This community lifted me up," Emily added, "and I swear the park's benches vibrated with pride." I leaned against a tree, sipping a beer, my DOJ brain finally exhaling. Mark had ensured the FBI's case was airtight, Karen's $30,000 scam unraveling into a web of forged invoices and shell accounts. "She's looking at more charges," he'd texted, my phone buzzing as I watched Emily shine. My career had been about protecting the vulnerable, but this, securing justice for my daughter, dismantling a tyrant, was personal. The park's security cameras blinked, no longer Karen's spies but guardians of our victory. Lisa handed me a plate of ribs, grinning. "We did it, Jack." She'd rallied 400 signatures, turned neighbors into warriors. Bill, baseball cap skewed, filmed the barbecue, his ex-post already climbing. "This is what winning looks like," he narrated, panning to Emily, who sketched a kid on a swing, her pencil dancing. Sarah, mingling with donors, planned a disability workshop for the HOA, her energy a force of nature. The crowd hushed as Emily stepped down, kids crowding her for high fives, her new leg clicking softly. I joined her, my voice thick. "Justice prevailed because we stood united," I said, hugging her. The scholarship fund, announced on a banner, promised to carry her resilience forward. Neighbors shared stories, the guy whose tacky mailbox survived, the mom who'd fought Karen's bike ban. The bulletin board, once a shrine to HOA dogma, now held Unity Day flyers and a kid's crayon drawing of Emily as a superhero. Karen's absence was a presence. Her purse, sunglasses, and clipboard were history, her online rumors crushed by #JusticeForEmily's tidal wave. The X campaign had spread stories of her tantrums and Emily's grit, with strangers donating to the fundraiser. "Loved this tale of triumph?" Bill's post read. "Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for more revenge and redemption." I chuckled, Guy was born for this. The barbecue rolled on, the park alive with music and chatter. A dog, probably the one Karen banned, chased a frisbee, its bark a middle finger to her reign. Mike, radio clipped to his belt, patrolled the edges, ensuring no last-minute Karen chaos. Tom grilled burgers, joking about renaming the park Emily's Place. My phone buzzed again, Mark, with a photo of Karen's mugshot. I didn't need to see it, her defeat was here, in the laughter, the unity, the gleam of Emily's leg. As dusk settled, the crowd lit sparklers, their fizz matching the energy. Emily sketched the scene, her tree, Harold, I bet, watching over us. The moral was clear, entitlement and cruelty couldn't outlast justice and community. Karen's hubris had built her throne, but we'd burned it down. I raised my beer to Lisa, Bill, Tom, Sarah, Mike, to Oakwood Estates. To standing together, I toasted, and the crowd echoed, sparklers waving like a promise.